Okay, I'm going to get started. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jennifer Marr. I am the chairwoman of the Putnam County Business Council. This is our business talk back. Today is sort of a hybrid. We are also doing a town hall meeting as well. The purpose of today's town hall meeting is strictly for businesses to be able to check in as of let's see, I think it was May 26th when we went to, it was a little later. So we've already been in phase 2 for at least 2 weeks, and Tuesday, June 23rd, we will be entering phase 3. So we want to hear from businesses, any questions, concerns, needs, or even success stories regarding phases 1 and 2, and perhaps what you need to be successful in phase 3 and 4 and continuing in post-pandemic. So I have some people with me today that I will be asking to give some reports before we get started. And but first I want to introduce when we entered into COVID, we were a 100% volunteer organization, and we have now brought on board Lisa Caslin from Prosper Communications as our communication director. So Lisa, if you could just check in with us and tell us about the task force report and some of the other stuff we've been working on.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So as some of you know, we've been working closely with elected officials and others in the community and local government to try to, tie everything together, make sure that we have multiple perspectives when it comes to the business community. And, first and foremost, I think, our role as really, the primary advocate for businesses in the county has really been brought to the fore over this crisis. And as such, we really had to ramp up our communication. So one of the things that I wanted to just quickly show you, I'm going to share my screen, is a report that we submitted to the county executive, of course, but more importantly, we submitted this to the governor, just so we could really issue a voice on behalf of the businesses that we're representing. So this report, and it's on our site, so you can look at it in detail. But basically, it covers, I'd say, what is it, about a dozen industries, Jen?
Yep.
Yep. And what we feel are the needs and what the wants are from these businesses from multiple perspectives. So I urge you to read this. And also, I think, one of the main purposes of today, which Jen just kind of shared, is we want to hear back from the businesses because it's important for us to hear rubber meets the road stuff. So if there are issues associated with anything from, PPE, safety equipment, protocols, etc., or challenges, whether it be financial fees, or the like, we need to know that. So, if we have not already covered it with the governor, that we do so.
Exactly. And the only thing I would add to what you just said is that actually most of the information from that report came from our last town hall and also from our task force, of which we have, I think, about 25 members made up of the business community and municipalities, municipal leaders. Some of which are on the call today. So I appreciate that task force very much. And we will be meeting on an as needed basis. And we will put out more reports to the governor on an as needed basis as well. We also have teamed up with Westchester Business Council, who have helped us tremendously. So we thank you, Marsha Gordon. You are an unbelievable asset to the Putnam County business community as well. So I'm going to turn it over. I want to ask Kathleen Abels, the president of the Economic Development Corporation. I think I finally got it right. Kathleen, you'll have to unmute yourself.
There we go. There we go. So tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow starts phase 3 of reopening, and that would include indoor dining as well as nail salons and other personal services such as barbershops, tattoo parlors. So the fact that other parts of the country are spiking and Putnam is staying exceptionally safe. We have an excellent health department here. They track everything, and our numbers continue to go down, 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 which is exactly where we want them to be. So tomorrow, June 23rd, is indoor dining and nail salons, phase 3. On June 29th, day camps can reopen. There will be no sleepover camps this year in New York State. On July 6th, baseball, softball, other types of outdoor recreation can begin. The only caveat is there can be no more than 2 spectators per player. So if your son's or daughter's on the team, mom and dad can both come, but they can't bring the entire extended family. July 7th, if everything stays on track, is phase 4, our final phase, and that will be arts, education, recreation, and entertainment. Also with phase 3, which begins tomorrow, we can have gatherings of up to 25 people. That is not inclusive of employees. So it's a great opportunity. A lot of businesses are expanding their footprint. They're going with outdoor dining. People are getting very creative, which I think is great. So if you can't cram everybody inside, we have the great outdoors, and it's a beautiful time of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. And I believe we have Tracy Walsh from tourism here. And Tracy, give me your official title. I'm just so
Director of Tourism. Or you can just kind of make it up, or if you don't like what I'm saying.
The Kathleen, but Kathleen's more corporate and she always corrects me.
You can go to George, wearing my moniker today because I shared the link with him. So we are continuing to pivot here. The state has obviously not given us the go-ahead to promote folks from outside of the county in, but that doesn't mean it's not happening in certain parts of the county. For the next couple of weeks, we are really going to focus on eat, play, and stay in Putnam. Our local businesses have suffered. They're still suffering, and there's going to be a major continued push this next couple of weeks to support local, eat local, play local, with a long list of what you can do with your family, with your significant other in the county, and not just what you can do, but to get off that bike path and go in and spend some money, or get off that trail and get out there and support the folks who have been supporting us. So we are going to kind of go, instead of, you see people say eat, play, stay somewhere else, but we want people to do that right here in our county. So we'll be providing a lot of day trip itineraries and family trips and suggestions from the east to the west on what you can do while still staying safe, and support our local businesses.
Excellent. I'm not sure, is there a spot where you can raise your hands?
It's at the bottom.
I'm just making sure. So I'm gonna move on to the next couple of people that are gonna give reports, but if you would like to speak on your industry, this is again, for businesses, then please raise your hand and we will go in.
I actually don't see it on this one, Jen. You might have to just do something like a thumbs up, or I'm looking.
Just go into anybody who would like to speak on their industry or ask questions, just go to the chat box and put your name in, okay? Great, thank you so much. So Sal Gambino and George Joyner, not to be confused with Tracy Walsh. You guys want to give us an update on SCORE? You have to unmute.
Oh, yeah.
You're good, George.
I think I'm unmuted, yeah. We don't have a lot new to report in terms of getting ready for phase 3, other than we've been a little bit surprised. The 2 primary federal government financing programs in the CARES Act, the PPP and the EIDL loans, are still open, and they still have money available, both of which have very short windows. I think the 26th is the drop dead date on the PPP. I'm not positive on that, but it's very soon. And on the EIDL loans, very quietly and with no fanfare, the EIDL loan portal has been opened once again to the regular business people. For a while, it was open only to agricultural businesses. I assume that that has played out and there is still money left. So there are 3 or 4 days in which one could apply for an EIDL loan. They'll be processed on a first come, first served basis. So if you had missed the boat, wanted to get it, or circumstances changed, suggest that you get that application in even late this afternoon or this evening. Again, just time is running out. If you need the money and you need that support, it's a great opportunity. Don't miss the window. And as I said, it was done very quietly without a lot of fanfare. And, that's the current status. The only other thing that's happening, I'm meeting with a couple of people later this afternoon. We're trying to develop some sort of a brainstorming session on crystal balling what the future of business and marketing and advertising and like is going to look like 6 months from now and a year and a half from now. Will the landscape change or not? And these are people that have been making their living and just deeply involved in the whole marketing and advertising space. And a lot of uncertainty. It'd be just an opportunity to brainstorm, and hopefully when we have the next one of these sessions, I'll have something to report on that as well.
Great.
So that's kind of where we are at SCORE.
Great. Thank you so much for all that you guys have been doing. And last but not least, we have Bill Milk from the Putnam County IDA.
And hello and welcome everybody. And we're looking forward to opening up into phase 3. I can tell you that the Putnam County IDA is open for business. And right now we're working very hard on getting the Glenida Distillery back on track. It was paused there during that period, but we're looking forward to it. They want to get back there, and so we're trying to move forward. We've got still to go through the courts and some other things, so it's a little bit of paperwork left, but it looks very good. Basically, we've also had some other inquiries now, people starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and they're asking, and coming to us with some actually realistic potential projects as opposed to some other pie in the sky things that we sometimes see. The Putnam County Business Council, obviously, we've just talked about that. We continue to do what we can to help with the reopening of our county and region. We're probably going to change this year's legislative priorities to our legislative goals due to the uncertainty of the nature of what our funding is going to be. But we are looking, as George just said, beyond where we are now and what's going to be available and probable and what we're going to be able to do in the future. That's it.
Great. Thank you. So we have only one person with their hand up right now. So this meeting is for you guys. It's for the business community. And before I open it up, I would like to just remind you that this is not a vent session. This is literally trying to get into the solutions, trying to figure out what obstacles you have, any issues, any concerns that are preventing you from operating your business carefully and to its fullest capacity. So we've helped a ton of businesses through phase 1 and phase 2, and we look forward to continuing that in phase 3. So again, raise your hand if, I don't know why I only see one. So, all right, Patty, I'm going to unmute you. And before I do that, any elected officials that are on, if you would like to speak, please let me know. And Lisa Castellan, please put the link to the report in the chat box. Okay, so. Okay, Patty, we're giving everybody 90 seconds and Bill is keeping time.
Got it.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you somewhat okay. You're a little low.
I'm not sure, my mic, there's something with the microphone here. Is that?
I think you're good. We can hear you.
My name is Patty Villanova. I have a small shop on Main Street in Cold Spring. And as you guys probably know, we were hit really, really hard with the lockdown. And most of us we were shut down on March 22nd, and it's been tough coming back. We've lost a lot of, I can't believe some of the businesses that we've lost.
Yeah.
in Cold Spring. Very surprising. We lost one of the oldest antique stores, and we also lost Berkelman, which was a premier store. So very surprised, very sad.
Very
Um,
sad.
One of the things that I do want to say, and I see we have a Cold Spring official here, Fran Murphy, it didn't help any with some of the draconian regulations that the village did. The village went
Patty, this is
overboard.
really just,
Okay,
gotta
and
stick
it
to,
didn't help, and it doesn't help. Um,
Patty,
and
just stick to what we can do to help you, please.
well, there's somebody here that can help, and I'm telling them what they can do
But not, this isn't about any laws or elected officials or anything that they have.
just said, are there any elected officials? And you were asking what's
I asked if they
problem
wouldn't,
with our business. So
yes.
that's a
If you
problem when you have
please-
over-regulation.
I understand, but
Okay,
in particular to your business as
Okay.
it stands within your municipality, within the guidelines, what are your struggles? What are your needs? What can we do to
I'm
help?
just trying to tell you, if you would stop interrupting me. You asked if there were, so I'm telling you what they are.
But we're not
So
here to
another thing
change.
is we can talk about that affects us is tourism. We have the tourism director here.
Yep.
And you're saying, what are you going to do to bring people to Cold Spring? What's your marketing plan? Because there wasn't one before this. I don't know.
Okay, Patty,
if you're gonna do something now.
This is, we're
This is
trying.
what? As long as you say what you want to say?
No,
You don't want to hear
No.
the truth
No.
about what's going on.
Patty.
So
in regards to opening through phase two, you're open in phase two, yes?
yeah, I'm open.
Okay.
I'm
So
open. And
this forum is not, we're not going to tell elected officials how to do their job. That's not, we're not involved with them. We
you
communicate
wanted
with
to
them.
know. You told us. You sent me an email saying don't sign up or else shut up. Well, I'm telling you, I signed up, and you wanted to know what the problems were, and I'm trying to tell you.
No,
Okay,
Why
Jen,
you want to
your
sugarcoat
business.
everything, Jennifer?
Jen,
You know what?
I'll answer her.
But this is not the forum,
I know.
not the forum.
But I've been working closely at the chamber meetings and listening to the concerns. And we do want to stress supporting businesses on both sides of the county. Because I've been at the chamber meetings in Cold Spring, as you have, we know, and Fran, I can't see your face, but I hope that I'm getting the gist. You know, they have special concerns over there, and we are trying to take those safety concerns in. And also it is a time where, oh, hi, Fran. It is a time where we can take some of the heat in the next couple of weeks, help them while supporting the businesses they're getting folks in, but to make sure that we do the breadth of the county and all of the businesses from east to west. And I think that at this time, especially, although everyone's recovering, our Cold Spring friends actually appreciate the fact that we're not only focusing on one area of the county. I don't know, Fran would have to nod because she's on mute, but she's smiling. So I think I'm getting the gist that we heard.
Absolutely. And we all have been focusing on all sides of the county. But what we're trying to do today is figure out, are there PPE needs for people to open? Are there restrictions within the guideline that make your businesses almost unable to operate? Things of that nature. We've had lots of forums regarding municipalities and all of that kind of thing. So today was strictly for businesses to discuss what you need to be able to open within the guidelines of the state and within the guidelines of your town.
Jen,
So
I think Lauren Cassioli wants to say something.
great. Lauren?
Hello, my name is Lauren Cassioli. I own Unite for Fitness in Mayapack. We're a group fitness studio.
Which one is it?
Unite for Fitness.
Okay.
So yeah, we're basically we're geared towards long, sleek muscle toning. We do yoga, Pilates, Zumba, kickboxing. We do some HIIT classes and this and that. Of course, right before we actually shut down, we had actually cut our capacity down to like 10 clients in a room just to be safe and everything. We had all our windows open. We were already taking those precautions, cleaning everything down and going ahead right before they shut our doors. And luckily I was prepared to go virtual right away, that seamlessly, that same day that they closed, I already had it in the bag to say, hey, we're prepared to go. So we have been doing virtual classes, but since there hasn't been too much, about fitness facilities, I don't know what guidelines I need to prepare for in the next 2 weeks, and what I need to have in plan and this and that, so I can get all that done. We are planning, of course, to still go at a minimum and have people register for classes and lock them out and go live at the same time as we're doing classes, so people have choices to stay at home or come in and like that and everything. But I don't have any details, and I think that's our hardest thing to prepare for, when I have no idea what I need to prepare for on this end. Do you guys have any right now?
Gyms have been the hardest. Kathleen, if you would also unmute yourself, that would be awesome. But gyms have been one of the hardest hit in this, and one with the least amount of clarity. And we did put in our task force to the governor a request to have gyms we feel are more like health and wellness, and health and wellness is crucial right now. We did put in a request to put you guys into phase 3.
Saw that. Doesn't mean
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that request really made too much of a difference. I do believe that it will be coming in, obviously, in phase 4. We have been suggesting that you really just go into the guidelines and kind of translate to your business. If you go on to the, what is it, nyforward.gov?
It's if you type in, if you Google in New York Forward, it actually comes up Forward NY. And you're right. You're exactly right, Jennifer. Even though the guidelines are not out, they just released one of the phase 4 guidelines this morning. They're doing a much better job. For example, the guidelines for phase 3, which starts tomorrow, they got them out on June 8th. But what Jen is saying is absolutely correct. The guidelines are incredibly redundant. So if you look at the principles, the 6 feet of distancing, wearing a mask, I mean, it's not going to be precise to your industry, but it's going to be really close. So I would start working from there. Are you in touch with any other gyms or fitness centers to see what they're doing?
A few. I'm on forums for other ones that are in the area, but nothing really in Putnam County. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just thinking like New York Sports Club in Carmel.
Well, actually, Rosa Glico just chatted to me. Good idea. Joe Chiata
Right.
of World Gym has an amazing plan. Maybe he'd be willing to talk to you. He did. He owns World Gym, and the plan that they have put together is amazing. He really did a good job. But
I have some guidelines and already set into place. I just want to make sure I'm following everything and not going out of it. I mean, I might even be above and beyond and redundant on the way that I'm thinking that I want to handle it. But
you can't be. The biggest message that we can get out to businesses right now is that consumers want to feel safe. They want value and they want to feel safe. That is what this post-pandemic is all about. So don't ever think you're doing too much. And you'll kind of, like, for example, and Kathleen, you might have other examples, the hair salons opened up and they were required to wear these splash shields on their face, and that went away very soon after them opening up. So some of the stuff that may be extreme or redundant, I've seen get softened as we go. And so that may happen in your industry too. Kathleen, have you seen any other examples like that?
Well, a couple of things I was just going to mention is that we're entering phase 3 tomorrow, but upstate, they entered phase 3 like over a week ago. So if you have a club that's, say, located in Columbia County or in Binghamton or wherever, they're closer to phase 4. And you may want to talk to larger gyms. For example, New York Sports Club, which has an office in Carmel. I mean, they're all over the Northeast. So you can see what they're doing in Boston. They're behind us, of course, in New York City. And World Gym, I think, is an excellent suggestion because, again, there are many World Gyms. So it's not, one individual trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, we're more on the lines of being a boutique studio as like yoga, Pilates, this and that. So even if I think about going into a look out of those areas that are opened up already and see what they have done, maybe. What their plans are.
Well, in Connecticut, they hit their phase 2, which is like our phase 3 was last week. So for example, like Yoga Culture on Mill Plain Road in Danbury. They're starting today to do outdoor classes at Terrywell Park. So they're ahead of us too. So I would look across the border to see what other, just to get some ideas.
Yeah, I just didn't know with New York if they were going to be, considering we had more cases, if they were going to be, take those guidelines, add more. You know what I mean? So
I think for your industry, I would follow the restaurant as much.
Or the nail salons.
Yeah, exactly.
Distancing.
Yeah, and just gotta have the stations throughout. But I would reach out to Joe Chiata because he's on our task force and he's been very vocal and very afraid of. He's right on the Connecticut border, so he's really impacted. Really impacted.
Just a hint for people that are looking right, Jen. Just a hint for people that are looking forward to going into phase 4. Some of the western counties that are getting ready to go into phase 4 ahead of us. If you go on to Forward New York, you can put on, if you go through the guidelines, you can pick one of those counties and look at their phase 4, and you may find their guidelines as they come due. I don't the guidelines themselves, I'm not sure are completely formalized yet, but
yes,
they will be getting the guidelines officially before we do.
Okay, thank you. Patty, did you want to ask anything specific to retail? That's what you had mentioned. If you do, please unmute yourself. Kathleen, just a little, what's going on with your task force? Just what have you guys been discussing and what's your next step?
We're continuing to share information. My task force is the Small Business Advisory Committee, and it's a dozen or so small business owners from a bunch of industries across the county. In some ways, it's like, therapy session. What did you do about this? But it's been really helpful in terms of communicating within businesses. For example, we have Stephanie Tomlinson from Salon Uccelli in Mayapack. She's been a very active member, and she's getting the word out to other hairdressers and hair salons across the county, which is great because, why should anyone reinvent the wheel? If somebody comes up with a good practice and you say, hey, that makes sense, why not incorporate that into your business? We also have, I think, 4 people in the food service business. Some of them have been very creative. We've lobbied successfully with the food service industry for outdoor dining to include outdoor dining with a fixed roof. Initially, if it was a fixed roof, it couldn't be outdoor dining. It had to be something temporary like a tent or an awning. We got that changed. I sit in every day on the control room calls at 3 o'clock. So we kind of get our marching orders from the head of the Mid-Hudson region from there. We're allowed to ask questions and it's working out pretty well. I know it is working well because people are starting to say, I can't do this anymore because yay, I reopened and now I'm too busy. So to me, that's a really positive thing.
Us too, which is a positive thing. We just want to continue to be a platform where people can come to. Rita O'Brien, I know that you want to talk about not-for-profits.
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, good. At least my audio is working. I'm Rita O'Brien from Emmanuel House in Carmel. I run a small 501c3 nonprofit that provides in-crisis family services. And we are having difficulty in getting everything we need to reopen. So for instance, I have been participating in the Hudson Valley Economic Development Corp series on reopening. And Mike Oates had Greg Sandler from Montefiore on, and I had asked them for some help on, there were like 6 items that I was trying to figure out how to put into the safety reopening plan. I had downloaded the template from New York Forward, but there were still some areas that I still needed some guidance on. And unfortunately, because they've been so busy, I haven't heard back from them yet. And some of it, I'm sure, is just, we're kind of a mix in the sense of not only do we provide referrals and action plans and things of that nature, but we also have gently used clothing and things of that nature. And so I'm not quite sure how to be able to handle the intake of the donations as well as the I'm concerned that maybe there's some possible transmission occurring either on the bags or in the clothing and on the other material items. So that would be one thing. We also, because we are a totally donation funded 501c3, we don't have the money to be able to get all of the PPE and all of the cleaning materials and everything. So I had asked if they would know of anyone who would be able to give in-kind donations. As a 501c3, we could give them a receipt for in-kind donations. So as soon as we get those things, quote, straightened out, taken care of, then we can move ahead to start trying to actually reopen. We've been able to do a lot of the referrals and action plans and things of that nature virtually. We switched to that almost immediately back in March. But a lot of the clients have been calling me saying they really need to be able to come in to get the clothes and other baby supplies. So that's where we're at.
Great. That's a good question about the donations. And I don't have that answer, but we certainly can try to get it. I do know that most organizations have not been on the receiving end of any materials, you know, for donation, and other type of businesses that take back bags aren't taking back bags, and so on and so forth. So, but it's a good question because you'll need to know that answer moving forward. And I'm not sure I fully understood about the in-kind donations. Can you simplify that a little bit?
Oh, sure. As a 501c3 public charity, we are allowed to take financial donations, material donations, and in-kind donations. So financial is money, material is like the regular clothes, baby items, household items, things of that nature. And an in-kind donation means if someone were to give us something from their businesses, for instance. So for instance, if a printing company sometimes will donate the printing of our fundraising materials.
Gotcha.
But also, I use the word in-kind also to mean like wouldn't have to necessarily be the manufacturer of those things, but maybe there's a distributor who could do it. Or if someone could just make a financial donation where we could then in turn be able to pick up, be able to go and buy them. So
got it. One of our goals is in the next couple of weeks, although weeks fly by like minutes.
Exactly.
Time stands still and flies by at the same time. But one of our goals is to put together a not-for-profit sort of task force, for lack of a better word. And we want to figure out ways to help with the fundraising issues. But putting together a list of in-kind services that work for you is something we can certainly help get that word out there, as well as the other needs that you have. And also Rose from the Brewster Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Rose. If you want to unmute, you can.
I just spoke with somebody from Kevin Burns' office, and Kevin has for his district, which includes Southeast, Brewster, Carmel, Putt Valley, and Patterson, he has hand sanitizer in the gallon-sized jugs that he will be distributing, and they will be distributing out in our parking lot at the Brewster Chamber on Wednesday. So Rita, you're in Carmel. Why don't you come on over if you can, and we can get it to you. He's also trying to get a hold of the Mayapack Carmel Chamber to do the same over there. But at least he told me today that they've got gallon-sized jugs of hand sanitizers that can be then poured into smaller containers for you to distribute to your clientele and for you to use yourself.
Excellent.
But I have some other ideas for you, Rita. If you want to email me at info@brewsterchamber.com, we can go over some ideas that I might have for you that we can work on offline.
Terrific.
Rita,
Thank you.
Rita, also, we have James Carmody is saying you can apply for a field hall grant. I'm going to send you that link. And I believe United Way has United Way, and also the Community Foundation. So also please info@putnamcountybusinesscouncil.com is my email address. And I think we've emailed back and forth a couple of times, Rita. So you have that. And
I do. Yeah.
And I'd love to get you onto that task force. That would be wonderful. Okay. Anybody else want to raise their hand and tell us something about your industry?
Joe
Concerns, success stories. Joe Talk has his hand up.
Yep.
Joe, I don't know why I can't see it, but Joe, I'd love to hear from you and see your face.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, everybody. My name is Joseph Talk. I'm the owner of the law offices of Joseph J. Talk here on Route 6 in Mayapack. Just a couple of things. Number one, thanks for doing this. All of you are really dedicated. I've been following this pretty much since the beginning. My office is open, and what we did is we have installed plexiglass around each of our paralegal stations, so the contact with the general public is minimal, to say the least. We've also, in our conference room, set up cubicles, plexiglass cubicles we have a conference room table that's about 10 feet long. And so it's broken up into pieces. So there's actually 10 cubicles in the conference room. So our office is open. I have 2 out of my 3 paralegals in 4 days a week. We're hoping to get back and add more hours as things hopefully get better. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm also the volunteer president of the Mayapack Public Library, and I would like to tell everybody that the Mayapack Public Library is now open for curbside pickup, and that can be done several ways. One of which is if you can go online to the library site, if there is a book you're seeking, or if you had placed a previous hold on a book, you can now get that book from the library. In addition, the library is going to have an app, which is going to be released hopefully within a week or so, called Libro, Libro. And that app, you can order books from the app. It's fascinating to me that they've come up with this, and that you can literally order the book, tell them when you want to pick it up. We have parking spaces set aside 6 feet apart in the parking lot, literally for curbside pickup. You go to the building, your book will be placed in a paper bag with your name on it. You can go and say 2:15 p.m. I'd like to be there. Boom, you pick up your book and you can leave. So the library is really being proactive. We are following the guidelines of the governor. We only have 50% of our staff in right now. We are getting plexiglass installed literally as we speak. And the last thing I want to talk about the library, well, 2 things. They have a summer reading program, which is great for the children, and that is being run virtually. And it is so far quite a success. But the second thing the library is doing at this time is promoting local business. Instead of asking for donations, I'm happy to say that the library is promoting a program with they have a stuffed animal called Dewey from the Dewey Decimal System. They're placing Dewey in various locations in businesses that are starting to reopen. and giving the children maps to go to the businesses, and hopefully the kids will bring their parents to go to the maps. Perhaps they'll purchase something from each business, and they're getting credit on this Dewey program for the children to really go to the businesses, not seeking donations from the businesses, but patronizing the businesses. The stuffed animal will be placed at various locations throughout the community. And I think it's a win-win promoting local business. So I'm proud to say the library is really trying to go forward. I'm also proud to say that the community supported the library and our budget passed overwhelmingly. Thank you.
Joe. Thank you, Joe. James Carmody, you had your hand up. Was it just to talk about the field hall grant, or do you want to tell us about that?
I want to talk about mutual aid in general. And so I've been administering a site called Putnam County Community Corona Action for the past few months. That's the site I linked in the chat. And if anyone wants to get involved in mutual aid outside of this forum, please feel free to enroll and list what aid you can provide, and any you need to receive will be available on the hub. So I'll put a link again in the chat.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Rich Parenti, I see you're on, and last time you were on a meeting that you thought was a town hall and wasn't. So now you're on a town hall. Just wondering if you have anything you'd like to add regarding going forward, phase 3. Rich, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I apologize. No, I don't. I'm just here to listen. I don't.
How's it going? How's your outdoor dining going?
Yeah, not bad. We're looking forward to opening the doors tomorrow and seeing people in the restaurant after whatever it's been, 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah. And your pigs are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so we did get about 10 emails from businesses. I know 2 o'clock is a hard time for businesses, so we are going to continue this town hall through our email communications and our Facebook communications for businesses to email us, call us, and let us know if you have needs, concerns, or anything regarding getting opened and getting as functional as possible. We have put together a resource list that actually rose from the Brewster Chamber has helped. So if you go to the PutnamCountyBusinessCouncil.com and you look up resource, you can find that list where you can buy things as local as possible and definitely within the Hudson Valley. If anybody else doesn't have anything else to add, I think we will call it a day. Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep. Thank you all for being here. Have a great day.
Thank you.
And Lisa, I never hit record.
I can kill you.
It's on Facebook though.